I love these kind of days. It seems like every few weeks I'm making one of these, but there's once again something exciting in the world of retro sim racing. And this time it's for my personal, all-time favorite, IndyCar Racing II. Hatcher, the brains behind X86 GP2, a modern, rapper, and executable version for Jeff Crammon's classic F1 sim, has been hard at work tinkering behind the scenes on what I can only express as an incredible achievement. This is Second Wind, a nod to Papyrus's Windows-based version of the classic IndyCar Racing II, dubbed Windy. This version of IndyCar 2 originally came out in 1996 in that craze of Windows 95, and it allowed playing IndyCar 2 natively on Windows, complete with a wonderful, quote, modern, "I've got a mouse now, so I'm going to use it" type of UI. This version of the game has somewhat fallen by the wayside over the years just due to its instability or difficulty to get running on modern versions of Windows, and most of us up until this past year have been playing the DOS version instead on DOSBox. But that's what Hatcher has set out to fix and has developed a wrapper-style patch which makes this probably the easiest way to play IndyCar 2. This patch does a whole bunch of things to make playing this game on modern Windows machines possible, and even better than before. It allows for full screen and windowed behavior, removing some of the odd white borders on the windows. It adjusts the sprite playback speeds so that the caution and checkered flags and things aren't waving extremely fast. It even takes advantage of some of the performance improvements on modern computers and makes all cars visible in all settings. But maybe some of the best additions are those around controllers. It reroutes the controller configuration to a more modern direct input, which allows more current controllers to be calibrated easily and lets you use up to 16 total controllers. But it also allows you to remap key presses and joystick axes and tweak all those settings so that you can use your modern hardware much more easily with this game. And this one's cool. He even added keys to be able to look around as you're driving, so you can look behind you and to both sides to see what's going on beside you, which was notoriously hard in the original version. It's a drag and drop install on top of the kart racing version of this game. You customize a couple lines in the config file and you're on your way. So you've got an easier to run version of the game with better controller support than ever. But wait, it gets even better. For the past few weeks, Hatcher has been hard at work doing something I frankly thought was impossible. And finally this past week, they've released a true widescreen update for this game. I've animated it here just for the effect, but it's now possible to play IndyCar 2, a game originally built exclusively for DOS and a little box 640 by 480. You can play this now in widescreen. And it's not just a single widescreen setting. There are actually 3 new modes. Firstly, there's an enhanced 4:3 normal ratio, which doubles the resolution of the game from 640 by 480 to 1280 by 960, making everything a little more sharp and quite a lot clearer. Or you can run this game now enhanced to 16 by 9, or really what most folks run these days on a modern screen. It runs at 720p or 1280 by 720 pixels and adds roughly 25% viewing area to the left and to the right. So that's a slightly higher resolution than normal, about 1.5 times as big, and you get to see more of the track, more of everything in front of you and side to side. Or lastly, the third mode, and this is the really crazy part. If you've got yourself an ultra-wide or a super ultra-wide screen, you could run the game at a whopping 24 by 9 in a super wide aspect ratio. Now this version is restricted to the original 480 pixels high, but it basically doubles the horizontal viewing area, essentially 50% to each side, which will almost fill any super wide screen to the very edges and give you a crazy sensation of speed. This coupled with lossless scaling, you can crop the edges a little bit, make it fit your screen perfectly, and immerse yourself truly in 90s racing sim glory. And speaking of immersive, you might have noticed that the mirrors have been massively improved as well to show a true image of what's behind the car rather than being restricted to those 2D sprites that were previously shown. And so it's an all-around just amazing improvement. It's important to note that this isn't squashing or stretching the game. It's actually adding a little bit to each edge of the screen. I was happy to be able to contribute a little bit to help Hatcher test and provide some of the new cockpit graphics needed for the update. Since the original game only has the cockpit in the middle drawn at that normal 4:3 aspect ratio, I actually had to paint and draw on the additional sides of the cockpit and the edges of the mirrors and things, taking a little bit of artistic license but trying to make something that matched the original aesthetic. It was kind of fun to peek around the corner and see what was outside all that window for all these years. The result of all of this is something I think frankly looks like it should have been there all along, and coupled with things like the force feedback patch that I created or some of the data overlays that SK has been building, this makes IndyCar 2 feel like a much more modern game and really just increases the enjoyment of being able to race closer side by side and not have, these massive black bars on the edge of the screen. Now, it's early days for this update yet. There's a few little bugs here and there, but Hatcher's been working pretty hard to fix anything game-breaking, and honestly, if you saw all the work that's gone into this and exactly how he's merging multiple renderings of the game and then re-adding the cockpit and overlay graphics over the top and seamlessly stitching it all together to create this enhanced widescreen version, it's nothing short of remarkable, or like I said at the start, it's an incredible achievement. And so it's worth mentioning that this is a completely different version of this game from the rendition version that I've done a video on earlier this year, and the wrapper that's been developed there, which allows for true HD graphics and enhanced visuals in the game. This version that Hatcher's created using Windy is much more faithful to the original look of IndyCar 2, but it does have that slightly higher resolution added in his 4:3 and 16:9 version. It's not as sharp as you can get with rendition, but it does add some nice visual clarity. And so it's a bit of a decision before second wind here or the rendition version, but honestly, as a lover of this game, I don't think we could be in a better place having multiple enhancements to choose from. And although right now it's just in a testing phase, but the developer of the rendition version has done some early testing as well to try to add widescreen to that version, so hopefully that will progress in the future as well. Got them set up for a quick 5-lap jaunt around Long Beach here with the 1993 cars. We'll come through the hairpin, get the green flag at the very back of the pack, so see if I can work up a few rows here without any collisions. Let's sweep down Shoreline Drive. Car in front's gonna grab the line in front of me here, but I can see him and pass him nice and easily here as we'll come down to turn number 1, nice and easy, get it down the gears. This is a completely redone version of Long Beach as the car jumps to my right there. Try to dispatch of him and come through the really tight section here, but it's a completely redone version of Long Beach, which is so much more detailed than the default one. This is from Sam Sapai in the IndyCar Racing II forums, and it fits these 1993 cars perfectly and looks absolutely wonderful in this ultra wide. I'm running the 24:9 version of second wind here as Hero. Even in a short race he does something. Come on now. A little bump from Hero, but we can avoid him a little bit better this time. Come right to the inside. He's gonna cut me off here. Park it on the apex. There we go. Still grab 2 of them through there. Sam Sapai has done a wonderful job redoing this track though and making it so much more accurate to the time. It was one of the last tracks in IndyCar 2 that we were still using the original for. And I've been watching the 1993 season lately, and it fits so well this time period that I think IndyCar 2 does better than almost any other game. And I'm using the force feedback patch here, of course, and with the widescreen and the real mirrors and everything going on, despite it still being, a pixelated old school game, it just hits for me in all the right places, and it's so fun to play. It just has gameplay that I can't find in any other game. Running full distance races with AI that, although they're quite tricky to race against wheel to wheel, they do an incredible job putting a whole race together, a whole season together. And you have these wonderful championship battles where cars do better or worse during races. You can get mechanical failures. You can have all these random type of things happen and just have a fun offline experience. It just holds up to this day for me. It's a bit nostalgia and a bit that I really do think it is that good. But I don't know, experiencing it like this is something I never thought would be possible. So we're behind Brian Till now in the, I think it's the Say No to Drugs car. that Eddie Cheever raced in some races in '93. All right, sink it into the corner. Oh, he's going to hang it out there. I find with the real mirrors, the rendition version also has the realistic mirrors, but seeing more side to side makes them totally viable now, because you can actually see when a car is beside you like this and feel confident about your move up the inside. As we'll come across the line, complete another lap here. What have I gotten up to? P19, 2 laps to go. This is how I like to play this game too, with just a little pit board that shows up in the top of the screen each lap. Gives you a clue as to where you are in the race and what position and the gaps, but no more information than that. You just have what's on your dashboard and then the pit board each lap. It's pretty authentic, I think. It keeps it a little bit of a surprise when things happen, or you can look over the results of the race afterwards and be surprised by them. So we'll rocket down the backstretch here quite a lot faster than some of these cars at the back of the pack, as we'll really outbrake. Who's that? Might have been Jimmy Vasser there, or Ross Bentley. All right, come through, double left-hander, get it onto the front stretch. One more lap to go. I think Ari Leyendyke in front of me, and then I've got Eddie Cheever in the Menards car right now in front of him. We'll take that white flag. It just works so well. It's unbelievable to me how seamless this has been. And it looks even better running at the 16:9 resolution, but I really don't mind it personally at the 480 tall, which is the default. But just having the extra space on the left and right of the screen, filling up the ultra wide. I am using lossless scaling here, and for my ultra wide, which is 3440 by 1440, I clip 66 pixels on each side using lossless scaling, and it fits the screen then perfectly when it gets upscaled. No black bars or anything, and it feels like it was always meant to be played this way. As we'll come through the final few corners, picking up the spot on one Eddie Cheever there, but not going to get around Ari with Chip Ganassi's car. But fun little race. Perhaps the worst way to show off IndyCar 2, a sprint race, but it's still fun all these years later. I think for anyone out there who hasn't tried IndyCar 2 before, or has maybe ran into issues trying to get their controllers to work in DOS, Second Wind might be the easiest way to get up and going with this game. I've put together a brief tutorial on my site which goes step by step through the current install process. And once you have the basics running, it's quite easy to download a few of those numerous car sets and track add-ons and start customizing your game to your favorite IndyCar era. And so yeah, IndyCar 2 in widescreen. I really never thought I'd see the day. It's early days yet for this version, and I don't know if I'll use this or the rendition version to wrap up the 1990 season, but it's been incredible to experience this game now in more than a small box. It really feels like I've actually entered the pixelated polygonal dream world that fits that early 90s era of IndyCar so well. So massive thanks to Hatcher for all the work and sticking through it despite some really difficult issues along the way. I'm excited to see what might be next on his side, or with some of the other awesome tools and tracks and car sets and everything else that's being developed for IndyCar 2. We are surely eating well over here. So thank you for watching. It's been incredibly fun testing this out, and it'll be great to see others enjoying it as well. But until next time, this is GP Labs, and I'll see you all later.